The spirit of sabotage. Do you notice that when you set out to execute Yahuwah's given assignment for his glory, all hell breaks loose against you? And does it seem like when you try to press into deeper levels of the spirit that the enemy works overtime to distract you, derail you, and otherwise deny you? And then you think, what is really going on? What is these spirits all about? Now, I know I wrestle with a lot of the spirit of sabotage, Jezebel, witchcraft, and religion that is prominent in Nigerian region. But here's the deal. The demons that you wrestle with most aren't always the demons wrestling with you right now. That's why you need discernment in the spiritual warfare. And we can't take or make assumptions in the heat of battle if we want to enforce the victory that Yahushua secured for us when he disarmed the principalities and powers by putting them to shame, as in Colossians 2:15. The enemy works in deception. So if a demon can deceive you, it can gain power in your circumstances. So how is the spirit of sabotage really working, and how does it work? Well, let me give you some definition on what the spirit of definition is, a sabotage is. And this is according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary. It is a destructive or obstructive action carried on by a civilian or enemy agent to hinder a nation's war effort. Again, you see the hindering nature of the spirit of sabotage in this definition. The enemy's agent is clear, and his agenda is an all-out war to take you off God's track and oppress you, suppress you, repress you, and depress you. Now, if you've seen that when President Trump just became president, he got inaugurated on January 20th. What has happened in the month of January? We have seen many planes crashing. We have seen fires that went on in California. We're seeing protesting in California with people waving their flags, of their country's flags, and demanding benefits. And some of those people could be here on a student visa, on a visitor's visa. Their parents may not be legal, and they're here illegally, but they were born in the United States, which doesn't make them a citizen according to the executive order. And then you see mass deportation of illegal migrants that are criminals. He's trying to secure our borders. He's trying to stop drugs from coming in, and there's an all-out war going on with the cartels and the military. As you saw in 2019, going into 2020, the COVID-19, when President Trump was president, they tried to sabotage him. And that's how he didn't get reelected in 2020. And we got a president that did nothing for us in the 4 years. And this man's only been in office 2 weeks, and he's already putting things into action. And people are fighting against him. Now, why would somebody want to fight against people in their own country? If you're supposed to be an American citizen, why would you fight a president that is trying to fight for you? That's sabotage to me. Let me tell you another definition of sabotage. It includes an act or process tending to hamper or hurt and deliberate subversion. The spirit of sabotage works with other spirits to take you to task, to hamper you, to hurt you, and to purposely, intentionally subvert you. For the sake of clarity, subvert means to secretly try to ruin or destroy a government, political system, and so on, to make something weaker or less effective, to overturn or overthrow from the foundation, and to pervert or corrupt by undermining or morals, allegiance, or faith. Aren't you seeing that's happening right now? And you saw in the last administration what was the corruption that was going on. Let me tell you what. When I was doing some research on the spirit of Jezebel and witchcrafts and this sabotage, boy, it says here that it is a stealthy spirit. It works undercover, it's subtle, sneaky, and tricky, and it doesn't work alone. And I believe principalities can deploy powers against you, just as Jezebel, a principality, deploys powers, witchcrafts against believers in 2 Kings 9-22. The spirit of sabotage operates as strong demonic influences that drive people to abort the progress and success of divinely ordained projects, purposes, relationships, organization, self-potential, and destinies. It stirs up jealousy, resentment, and suspicion, and is often vindicate toward the person who detects its presence. Sabotage can make you both victim and perpetrator, so that even when you pronounce judgment on others, you both expose and pronounce judgment upon yourself. Wow. This spirit is so skillful. It will use you as a pawn and a puppet on a string, prohibiting you from detecting its hand upon you and the strings that manipulate you. Working with familiar spirits who act as their reconnaissance, informing them of breaks in the hedges of protection, strengths and weakness, and proclivities of both the perpetrator and victim. Its plan is well thought out and planned. It's a monitoring spirit. It monitors you, so they can see how they can sabotage you. And I have discovered that many agents used are not only those with malicious intent, but also those who secretly love us and want what's best for us. This is so crazy that people will sabotage you. Let me give you an example in the word. In Matthew 16:21-23, it says, Peter unwittingly was being used in an attempt to sabotage the mission of Yahushua. Yahushua decisively identified the spirit controlling Peter's thoughts and immediately aborted its activity by rebuking him. Remember, as you examine the activities of this spirit, that you will discover that you are both victim and perpetrator. And when Yahuwah gives you a victory over the spirit, you will notice that a veil will be lifted and the scales of deception will fall from your spiritual eyes. And everything that you thought was real will crumble before you and evaporate like a mirage. Truth will prevail and set you free from anything built up fabrications, lies, falsehoods, and untruths. Now, can everybody on here say amen to that? So let that spirit of sabotage be underneath your feet. Don't let it control you. Watch it in your family. Watch it among your friends. Watch it all over your social media. There are people that will lie on this social media to get you all riled up and into your feelings. They're not stating facts because it's a spirit. That spirit don't want you to be successful. That spirit don't want our president to be successful. Look, I'm for a president that's going to stand on business, and President Trump is running this country like it's a business. So either you like it or not, either you're going to be and pray for him, or you're going to be against him, and you're going to reap judgment upon your life. Because remember, prosperity ain't going to be for everybody. Yahuwah's hand is not going to be on everybody. If you try to sabotage the mission, he will rebuke you like he did Peter. And you will get behind him and you will end up with nothing.